Oh yeah, Kristen Wig as Roboto. That's exactly what every kid from the '80s wants to see. Nice job, Hollywood. Yeah. So Hollywood has a long history of taking our beloved childhood favorite stories and just fucking them up royally. Will this new He-Man movie be that case? Is it going to be as bad as Rise of Cobra? I want to get into it here. We're going to talk about some of the casting decisions, which in my opinion show that possibly they're going in the wrong direction. I'm not a fan of. With the caveat of saying, like, I'm holding out hope, and there's a couple of reasons why to hold out hope that this is actually going to be a really good movie, which we'll talk about. What I would have done, with a cast, not that I matter, but what would a fan casting look like for He-Man? I'm going to go through what they're doing, what I think about that, and what maybe they could have done instead. And then we're going to talk about, some of the good, some of the mid, and some of the awful. And there's a lot of all of that here. So what do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Are you excited for this movie? Do you think it's going to be any good? Have you been excited by the casting decisions so far? Or, is Kristen Wig exactly who you thought would play Roboto? I don't think it was. We know quite a bit so far of who's going to be cast and the general overall idea of the plot. It seems like He-Man here he's going to start off on Earth and he's forgotten who he is. And so there's going to be a clunky section of him in Earth, and we've seen some photos of the He-Man actor being, ushered into a car by some cops. So we're gonna have Earth cops. We're gonna have that does not excite me at all. I'm much more interested in going straight to Eternia and just showing us like this bizarre fantasy world and really getting into and really being absorbed in that fantasy world. That's what I like in a movie. But I am holding out some hope that this could be a good movie. I think it's got a 50-50 shot. What makes me think it's a 50% on the chance of this is going to be a shit show is just general jadedness. All the other horrible movies that have been made for 80s, action heroes. Most of the Transformers movies are not good. The G.I. Joe movies are absolute garbage. The Masters of the Universe 80s movie was not great. I think we all have a little affection for it now, but I don't think back in the day it was considered a great movie by any means. Okay, let's start with the big ones, all right? And this is the biggest one that is just, for me, it makes me think, oh God, they don't understand. They don't know what they're doing. This is just the worst decision. And that is Jared Leto as Skeletor. Come on, really? Jared Leto as Skeletor? That's legitimately terrible. First of all, Jared Leto I don't think Jared Leto's been good at anything. I've never seen a movie. He won an Oscar for playing a trans woman. Now he would, of course, get canceled because he's not really a trans woman. He can't do that. So that movie's been erased. So like that one movie, if you saw that movie, I haven't. I'm sure he's great. Won an Oscar, whatever, didn't interest me. And what other thing has Jared Leto been good in other than My So-Called Life? Like, that was the last time he was good. He was good in Fight. The only time I want to see Jared Leto is I want to see Edward Norton beating the living shit out of him. That's when I want to see Jared Leto. Was it his incredible performance in Morbius that made the studio decide that he was the guy to play, the big bad in Masters of the Universe, one of the greatest, action figure villains of all time? I don't know. So who would have been a good Skeletor instead? I think you could have gone like iconic older actor. And this is, I'm going to say, this is just in general, I have a general problem with the casting here, is everybody's really young. And there's just like this skewing really young in the cast. And I don't think everybody has to be like 80, but I think you could have gone a little older, I think Frank Langella was an incredible Skeletor. So there's so many great actors that would have made a great Skeletor that we could have found. I think let's go like better actor, more iconic, more like bad guy energy. How about like, I don't know, Ralph Fiennes would have made a great Skeletor. That would have been very cool. He could have hammed it up. He could have like really put that evil energy in. I think there's just a lot of guys that would have been better than Jared Leto. Jared Leto's not a good actor. Also, Jared Leto, the other thing is you now subjected Jared Leto's assholiness onto the cast of Masters of the Universe. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the man is an absolute. First of all, I think he runs a cult or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But he when he played the Joker, which is also terrible. He's the only terrible version of the Joker I think we've seen. He was like harassed the cast. He like pranked them constantly, and he was like in character the whole time. He's gonna be in character Skeletor the whole time. Like, what kind of a douchebag would you have to be to just play Skeletor all day? That sounds just like an absolute pill of a human being. No, I don't know. Bad. That's the one thing that makes me think this is just like a bad idea, right? Let's go down the list here and check out some of these other ones. Okay, Kristen Wig as Roboto. All right, we just found this out that Kristen Wig is going to play Roboto. What the hell is going on here? What's crack you smoking? I like Kristen Wig. She's great. She's funny. She's not Roboto, okay? Why are they doing this? First of all, they gender swapped Roboto. Ooh, does Roboto have a gender? I guess he doesn't. So let's say he doesn't have a gender, so technically it doesn't have a gender. Therefore, he could be female, man, whatever. Doesn't matter. Who should play Roboto? Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking would be a perfect Roboto. I know he's dead. Just take his little voice box and if Kristen Wiig was to speak through that Stephen Hawking voice box, he would be a great Roboto. But she will be a great Roboto. But that's about it. There's zero reason to cast Kristen Wiig as Roboto. I don't know what's going on there. This makes me think they are going silly. They're going to make it like the cartoon. No one wants that. I'm sorry. Right? Correct? We do not want that. I want like a savage ass He-Man. Not a cartoony. No cartoony bullshit for this take on He-Man. Okay, so let's get into some of the other casting decisions. Okay, this is one that I think a lot of people are excited about. I'm gonna Alison Brie as Evil Lynn. Okay, I love her. I love Alison Brie. Big Community fan. I mean, I think mostly I love Alison Brie because she's hot, right? She's very attractive and she is talented. I don't think she's a great Evil Lynn. I'll give my 2 cents on why, but I'm not upset with that. I'm happy that she's. I actually will give her a little bit of leeway to maybe grow into being Evil Lynn. Here's why I don't think she's necessarily like who I would pick. She's young. She maybe a little younger, a little less serious, a little less severe. She's a natural comedian. She's very funny. I think she's really good in Community. She's really good in comedies. I don't know about her, vamping it up as this evil witch. I mean, Lena Headey played her in the Revelations, which I know everybody hates. That was great casting. Who else could play it? Rebecca Ferguson would make an incredible Evil Lynn. Rebecca Ferguson is in Dune. She played the witch mother, in Dune. That would be an incredible take on Evil Lynn because she'd feel evil. Alison Brie is going to feel kind of campy and fun. Again, I'm holding out hope. She's a talented actress, and I think she's playing against her type here. But a good actress can play against their type, and they can make it great. And so I'm holding out. And I'm pretty, even though I don't think she's the right, she's not who I would pick. I'm pretty excited about her. I love her. So we're okay with that idea. Another character that I think this is pretty good. This is pretty good in my opinion. And I know people will be very upset because it's race swapping. Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms. I don't think he's the perfect Man-at-Arms, but he's a great actor. He's very charismatic. He's very, communicates some of the energy that that Man-at-Arms would have. Would I have picked him? No, I would probably have picked somebody with more like uncle energy, you know, like somebody a little older. Somebody with, you know, like an older actor who can bring some gravitas. I mean, I think he's probably in his 50s. I'm not really sure how old he is, so he's a little older, I guess, than the rest of this cast. But I think he could have gone even older, like Jeff Bridges or something. But I'm not upset. I'm fine with it. I think interesting casting, not where what I would have done. But I'm totally on board. Okay, next we have Morena Baccarin for the Sorceress. And this is pretty good. Okay, we get some good casting. I like this. She is beautiful. I was a big fan of Homeland. So, you know, I will say she feels a little young. I think you could have gone, if you could have gone, any character could have been older. You could have gone older for the Sorceress. And you could have gotten one of these like iconic older actresses to play the Sorceress. That would have been kind of fun. I don't think Morena Baccarin is probably like 40. Maybe she looks younger though. She's really beautiful. She looks young. And you could argue maybe the Sorceress isn't aged very much, and therefore she doesn't have to be like an older woman. You could have had somebody like Cate Blanchett, somebody a little older with some gravitas. I just think they're skewing everything really, really young, and so now it's like, yeah, well, if you're like Teela is 12, then you can have the Sorceress being 40 makes her old, and that seems to be the way they're going. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Again, this is all I am holding out for this movie to be good. I want it to be good. I do think there's a really, really distinct possibility it is good, and I'll tell you why. The director and the writer. So, and that is almost very often that is going to be the thing that really signals whether it's going to be good. So, bad casting, whatever, that could be, you know, a sign of something negative coming, which I think is what really I don't like a lot of this casting. But good director, good writer is a better sign that this movie's going to be good. James Gunn being Superman, bad example, because that wasn't very good. But, you know, when I heard James Gunn was doing Superman, I was like really excited. I saw the movie. I was like, that was what's going on. Way too much. Just stop. Okay, so Travis Knight is the director. And Travis Knight is a great filmmaker. He made probably one of the few tolerable Transformers movies. Bumblebee. It's probably the best Transformers movie, right? Bumblebee. And it had the most sense of magic to it. He's a very good storyteller. He's not overly obnoxious. His visuals are not so overwhelming that you don't know what's going on. You can tell what's happening. And what's even better is that he's very versed within fantasy worlds. Because he's, in addition to being the director of Bumblebee, he also directed Kubo and the Two Strings, and he comes from the animation field. He directs for this company that made Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a great movie. I love that movie, and to me that like really it sends you in a fantasy world, and it really keeps its tone. And makes that fantasy world feel solid and real, and that's like the greatness of that movie, and that's what you need to do with Masters of the Universe. So I think there's a really good potential. The writer is also the writer of Kubo and the Two Strings, so it's in Chris Butler, his name is, and so he writes for Travis Knight, and he writes animation, he writes this. So I think we've got here a very good chance. You got two good storytellers who know how to work together, who know how to work with fantasy. Like, it's not like one of these stupid ass moments where Hollywood's like, hey, you just directed an art house, you know, film for A24, and you know, Nomadland, and we're gonna put you in the helm of $300 million superhero epic, The Eternals, which was horrible, like absolutely horrible. So you don't want to do that. You gotta pair people up by what are they good at, and this is a time when they're taking somebody who knows, he's an action figure guy. He made an action figure movie already, and it's good, and a writer who knows how to do this kind of fantasy world. So that is very good news. Almost offsets how terrible Jared Leto is, and why the fuck they would decide to make Jared Leto Skeletor. Almost, but not quite. We've got our King Randor and Queen Marlena. Now, of course, the only person who can play King Randor is the Burger King. That's you just need the Burger King. So I don't know. This guy is James Purefoy. Oh, I don't know him. He sounds fine. He looks like a king, I guess. And we have Charlotte Riley as Queen Marlena. This is fine. I don't know who cares. I could never cared about the He-Man's parents. I've never given a shit about He-Man's parents. I don't care about them now. I don't care about them in the 80s. That's so uninteresting to me. So kudos, you got a couple Brits to play King and Queen. Fine. You could have gotten like Emma Thompson, Kenneth Branagh or something. I don't know. Some like classic great pair of British actors. Maybe they're too old. They're probably too old now. I think about it. Yeah, no, this is pretty good. I mean, like I said, I don't care about the characters. Okay, let's talk about Camila Mendes as Teela. Now, this is Camila Mendes. I have no idea who she is. Never heard of her. She was in Rivendell or something. I didn't watch it. I would not have gone that route. Here's why I don't like. I'm not like in love with this casting. But I'm willing to I'm willing to give her the shot. Let's wait and see. Let's watch the movie. She looks really slight to me. She looks like, so we got to believe that she can take on Trapjaw. And you just get like the skinniest, littlest girl who just does not have any doesn't really have any muscle tissue. I think you just need somebody a little bit more muscle. It's a little sturdy. I'm not want Gina Carano. It doesn't have to be that muscular, but just a little bit more of a fighter's body, I think, and also older. I don't think Teela should be 20. I think Teela should be 27, 30. I think. Who would have been a good Teela? I mean, Samara Weaving would have been a good Teela. You could find, there's a million actresses who are great. They communicate a power. This girl, I don't know her. I haven't seen her. She doesn't. To me, she just looks like a little teen, like a girl who's just left teenagerhood. You know what I mean? She doesn't. And I mean, yeah, I guess Teela could be that, but then make her work out. Get some muscles or something. I don't know. Just she doesn't look. She's not perfect. Next we have a list of a lot of the characters that are going to show up. This is great. We know that Goat Man is going to be in it, which is a very obscure character that was, I think, in a cartoon version and then showed up in Origins or has had some figures since then, but was not an original figure. Cool. I like that they're throwing in little details, little, Easter eggy kind of extra details. And it seems like they have this, hat for Julius Bjornsson. There's a lot of names in this IMDb that are Bjornsson. There are a lot of Icelandic. I don't know if they shot in Iceland, maybe, because it does look like another planet. Probably. But anyway, so all that's good. Yeah. Getting all these guys from the Vikings, Viking TV show who are going to come in and play these characters. Similar to Goat Man. Obviously, I did not have a preference of who plays Goat Man, so this is fine with me. There's a similarly named dude playing Johannes Halkur Johannesson. So we have this guy here is playing, I think, Fisto, and I'm not going to pronounce his name because it's not my thing. Fisto. That guy looks like Fisto to me. Now, who would have made a good Fisto? Gerard Butler would have made a great Fisto. It's a little bit of a little downplay. He probably needs a bigger role if you're going to have Gerard Butler in this. Well, I don't know what he's doing lately, but he would be a good Fisto. Well, you know what would be a good Fisto? That guy from Cruising, the Al Pacino movie from the 80s. Yeah, that would be he'd be a great Fisto. If you know, you know. Okay, let's look at this guy. This guy's name is Stephen Edenton, and he's playing Mossman, and he's a big dude. Mossman should just be mostly, I would imagine he's going to be CGI. He's going to be a weird creature. I would say heavily filtered voice. I think you could have gotten somebody with a great, one of those great gravelly voices to play Mossman. Tom Waits would be a great Mossman. That would be my pick for Mossman. Get Tom Waits to play him. Or you could get somebody, Just get some weird, somebody with a weird, cool voice to play Moss Man, and that would be something. But I have no problem with this. This is whatever. Okay. Kojo Ata, no, Triclops. Okay, they're playing. They got a Kojo Ata is Triclops, and this is they're changing the race. I know some pisses people off sometimes. I mean, it's Triclops. It's just whatever. Who cares? Fine. I don't know. Triclops is not that important. Now, who should play Triclops? There's an actor that used to be in like exploitation movies in like the 80s. That looks exactly like Triclops. That guy, obviously he can't play him anymore because that guy's, he's probably dead or he's maybe like 100 years old. But that is like, I don't know if you had this thing, but whenever I saw Triclops, I pictured that guy because I think he looks exactly like Triclops. I'll put his picture right here. I can't think of his name. I have no problems with this. Fine, whatever. It's Triclops. Don't really care. Trapjaw. Sam C. Wilson is going to play Trapjaw. This is, again, a lot of these actors I just don't really know. I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen him in anything. Trapjaw. Jim Carrey in Living Color. That would be my pick for Trapjaw. Now, I don't really have a pick for Trapjaw. I got nothing. You tell me who should play Trapjaw. Okay, now we have John Zhu Zhang. I don't know how to say anybody's name. I apologize, John, if I have fucked up your name. As Ram Man. Okay. Ram Man. Again, anybody could be Ram Man. This guy was in the Eternals. He's like a stocky dude. Sure, that works. Why not? Okay, what we don't know, we haven't seen yet, is a couple of characters that you just absolutely have to have that are not listed yet. And so I'm wondering who's going to do these characters. First would be Beastman. I mean, you don't see Beastman on the list, but you got to have Beastman. That's like, he's too big. He's just too important. We can't have this He-Man movie without Beastman and his partner Merman. You just got to have them in the background bickering. They don't have to do a whole lot. They're just going to be, they're the minions in the. That's what we need them. That's his Skeletor's core crew, and we need those guys. Yeah, you get Triclops, great. You get Goat Man, but you're not a Beast. You have to have Beastman, all right? So let's throw away this shit about not having Beastman. Okay, so who should play Merman? How about Steve Buscemi? I don't know. Steve Buscemi as Merman. He's got the eyes. That's really all I got. He's who would play Beastman? Clearly you don't need anybody really, it could be really anybody. I don't think it has to be like a major actor playing Beastman. He's going to be under makeup. It's going to be, giant monster, maybe a pro wrestler or something, whatever. But you got to have him. He's got to be in the movie. It's just an absolute sin that you put on an IMDb list and you do not list. Although they apparently, are listing new people all day because they just listed Kristen Wig as Roboto. So I can only imagine that maybe, Kate Hudson is going to play Beastman. I don't know. This is stupid. It can't be any worse than Kristen Wig playing Roboto. So, whatever. Okay, lastly, let's weigh in on He-Man. This is Nicholas Galitzine. I have no idea who he is. I've never seen him in anything. He looks the part. He got jacked for the role, so he's not normally that big of a dude. He's good shape, but now he's huge. He's absolutely massive. And I think is I would have liked it. Does he look great? He looks a little too young to me. He's a little too pretty. He's got like a very beautifully his face bothers me. That's all I'm gonna say. His face bothers me. I'm holding out hope that he's gonna be good. He did, I think kudos to him. He's able to, get that big for this role, to get massively jacked. Who do you need? Who do you need to play He-Man really ultimately? Now, he makes sense for the way that they're gonna probably treat He-Man, which is how He-Man is treated in most media. But I don't like it. And a lot of us don't like it, which is that He-Man is going to be a boy. He's going to be a muscular boy, which is going to make me uncomfortable watching a muscular boy walk around in that, loincloth all movie. I think you should do with He-Man is they should have gone, don't make Prince Adam and He-Man the same actor. Because it's a lot of the cartoons did this. The 2011 cartoon showed a very separate, like thin, skinny version of Prince Adam that clearly looked nothing like the He-Man persona. Whereas the cartoon route, it seems like they're going to go the cartoon route, which is we have this like very stupid, goofy thing that we have to always do with Superman, and we have to always do with He-Man, which is like when he's Prince Adam, he looks just like He-Man, and he's just a massively jacked dude. And then no one notices because he, like, I don't know, he parts his hair and differently. I don't know. He looks exactly the same, and it's just as silly and stupid. He's gaining the power of Grayskull. His whole body can transform. He could age. He could be completely. And so I would like want to see like a massive I would want to see like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type from in the 80s. So who could do that now? And the guy that plays Reacher is Alan Ritchson, I think his name is. He's just a massive, very muscular, blonde guy. Pull Dutch boy haircut on him. And he could make a great He-Man. And then you wouldn't have that weird, like, He-Man wouldn't be a boy anymore. So he would be a man. But that's the idea, is like he gets the sort of power. He transforms from like a 25-year-old guy to a mannish, ridiculously oversized guy. That's a way that you could have gone. And then, of course, now you have to have a Teela that's not the 20-year-old slight little thing. You'd have to have like a woman play Teela. You'd have to have, but I would prefer that. I think like most of us, and this is like, I made a video on the mythology of Masters of the Universe, and a lot of people were commenting like, I'm never the biggest fan of Prince Adam. Don't love this narrative. I would love more of the savage He-Man, where he's like a real barbarian, and so I think you could do that. Like I think Dolph Lundgren was a great He-Man. He looked the part. He was a man, and he's incredibly huge. He sold it. He wouldn't have sold a Prince Adam at all, but that's okay. They didn't really do that. So that's what I would do. And then who do you get for Prince Adam? I don't know. You get like some 25-year-old dude with blonde hair that. It doesn't really matter. They don't have to look the same. He could, we're not going to focus on him. We're going to focus on He-Man. So that's my take on the casting of the new Masters of the Universe movie. What do you think? What do you think is going to be any good? Who would you cast differently? Are you a fan of the cast as is? Tell me in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it already, I did make a video on the mythology of the Masters of the Universe. You can check that out right here. Oh, and like and subscribe and do all of those things that the YouTube people tell you that you have to do. Okay, thanks.